but a good all-round package, and certainly the handling modifications of this year are very worthwhile.
Now, possibly I'm not the man to criticise, but the 1100 is a heavy bike. It weighs 231 kilos with no fuel on board, compared with the 250 hitting the scales at 139 kilos. That's almost twice as heavy.
And you really do notice it. I think that the thing to remember again is that it's horses for courses. Certain roads suit the 1100, certain roads suit the 250, and it depends on what you're looking for from each bike. They have specific areas that they both work well in.
How does it stop for such a heavy bike?
Well, the two don't go together very well. It has very good brakes on it, but of course when you're riding the 250 1 minute and the 1100 the next, you think you're never going to be able to stop it. It's like trying to stop a super tanker out in the channel. It really is an incredible motorcycle to slow down. Great fun to try and stop it in a hurry, I have to say.
Well, the 93 version has a bigger seat, a higher fairing screen, wider mirrors, and some grab handles for the pillion rider. Does this mean the bike is moving towards a sports tourer?
Yes, I think it does, Chris, because I think that the latest sports bikes have overtaken the GSXR really in technology as far as what is now available on the road. But it's a great sports tourer. The GSXR-1100 has always been a favourite bike. The bigger seats, well, the bigger seat was a bit difficult for our pillion passenger because she felt it was a little bit too wide for her. The screen and fairing were brilliant. As far as a rider's concerned, I think they were very, very good indeed. And the wider mirrors, I'm all for wider mirrors, especially on a sports tourer, as we've now deemed this bike. The grab handles were perhaps a bit too far back for our pillion rider. She didn't really like them that much because they were so far back it meant that she had to sit on the back of the seat, therefore being away from the rider's back, and there was a lot of wind buffeting that got between us while we were riding. So I think that could have been modified as well, but overall leg position and the like again deemed very, very good for the pillion.
So no problems with the GSXR for long distance touring? And what about riding it at night?
Well, again, riding at night, everything is good on the GSXR. Lighting nowadays is very, very up to standard. I find it a very easy motorcycle to ride at night. The layout of the speedos and the like is very, very good. The lighting inside the cabin is very, very good. So I think that really up to standard is all I can say as far as that bike's concerned.
And you wouldn't mind doing lots of miles, hour after hour?
Can't say that I'd like to do hours and hours of riding, but it wouldn't be on any motorcycle that I'd do that. But the GSXR is certainly a bike that you can cover quite a lot of miles on comfortably day or night.
Well, we mentioned earlier that this GSXR-1100 WP was restricted, and that poses the question as to who wants an 1100 with a 750 performance.
Certainly not me, that's for sure. 112 brake horsepower, not my cup of tea. It's a big, heavy motorcycle. If I'm going to buy a motorcycle like this, I want a full-blown version. I want something that's going to spin the rear wheel and do all the business. Even having said that, though, 112 brake horsepower may be restricted, but it's still a 150 mile an hour motorcycle and still does an 11-second standing quarter mile, so it's no slouch. But like you say, who wants an 1100 with 750 output? And if you go for the 20 horsepower greater version, the de-restricted thing, it gives you 25 mile an hour more on the top end and standing quarters in around 10.5 seconds. So I think the de-restricted version is my kind of motorcycle.
The 1100 costs an extra £2,000 than the 250. And the insurance on the GSXR for a bike that tops 170 miles an hour must be an arm and a leg. Is it all worth it?
For someone of my age, 30 plus we'll say for the moment, yes. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of riders nowadays riding these type of motorcycles are 25 or under, and the insurance is almost impossible for them. So the 250 has got to be an option. But for me, I'd pay the £2,000 more for the bike because the 1100 seems like more of a motorcycle to me.
Okay, decision time. We're back where we started. If you add that extra 20 brake horsepower to the 1100, does it give you a bike that will give you more fun than that great little RGV 250?
Certainly not more fun, and again I think it's horses for courses, bikes for roads, depending on where you are, depending on how you feel about your motorcycling. A 250 two-stroke motorcycle, lightweight on the road, is great fun, but it seems to me to be a little bit difficult to take seriously sometimes. It is a great fun motorcycle. You are going a lot faster than you'd ever thought possible on something like that, and you can do some diabolical things on it and get away with it. But still, I think the GSXR-1100, great big thumping muscle bike, loads of wheel spinning horsepower, is great fun. but it's debatable whether it is more fun than the 250. For me, I'm still undecided.